G'day, cobbers, and welcome to today's show. It's Andy from bloody Australia, mate. And here we are with Dougie the Dingo. He's a wild dog. I've only taken years out of my life to train him, to make him safe to keep around small children and soft toys. Well done, Dougie. There's a lot. He's got a lovely hat, the same as me. Now, we're going to start off today's show live from Australia here. It's bloody sunny, as you can imagine. I got a little bit sunburnt. Oh, gotta spray myself with aloe vera. Bloody hard as nails, we Aussies. I can tell you it's bloody so playing the accordion with the straps over it right there. Oh, it's Crocodile Arbroath here, in case you didn't know. Cousin of Crocodile Dundee, famous Paul Hogan, who made one of the best films ever, Crocodile Dundee, in the 1990s, or was it 80s, where he hit the robber with a can of beans. Oh, I meant to get the can of beans. I forgot to get it from the cupboard. Never mind, what an idiot. We're going to start off with a very popular Australian song. I'm sure you'll recognise it. Toki here, Dougie is going to howl along. And you'll probably howl as well once you hear me singing this little number. Oh yes. Once a jolly swagman came to buy a billy bong under the shade of the coolabah tree. He sang as he watched and he waited while his billy boiled. You come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. What the hell's a billy boiling billabong? Anyway, down came a jumbuck to drink at the billy bong. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him with glee. He sang as he shoved the jumbuck in his tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda. Sing along, Toki. Waltzing Matilda. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he shoved that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Up rode the squatter, mounted on his thoroughbred. Up rode the troopers, 1, 2, 3. With the jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag. You come a waltzing, young gentleman, with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. The jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda, you scoundrel. Up jumped the swagman and sprang into the billy bong. You'll never catch me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billy bong. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me. All together now, Toki, Dougie. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You come waltzing Matilda with me. His ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong. You come waltzing Matilda with me. Well, it's truth, that went a lot better than I expected, Dougie. It's Dougie the Dingo here with Crocodile Arbroath. I used to smoke, not anymore, so you used to call me Crocodile Smoked Arbroath. No, that's not right. Smoked Arbroath Smokies. Oh, something like that. Anyway, I wonder how long I can keep this accent up. Not very well. It's almost slipping into posh English and then back into a Cockney rhyming thing. Oh, no, that was so difficult. Oh dear, it's all getting terribly wrong. I know what I'll sort it out. A quick beer. And I didn't have any Fosters because I fed it all to my slugs. So I'm reduced to drinking the last of my beer supply. Yes, Corona. I know, we've all been avoiding it. We've been avoiding it like the plague. Ooh, have I spoken out of turn? Now, what's next on the show? We've got something serious coming up. I've got something serious coming up. And it's a set of tunes requested last week because I can't send these messages anymore. I don't know why. Is it something I've done on Facebook? Is it something I've done to offend Paul Zuckerberg? Or is it, have they just changed? I don't know. I can't see your messages anyway until a week later. Sorry, well, I can see them after the show. So if you do have any requests, oh sorry, that Corona's making me burp. I heard it goes for the throat. Yeah, so if you do have any requests, lay them down, lay them down in order, and we'll try and do them for you next week. So here's one from last week from a young Fiona Mackenzie in Inverness, who may or may not be a famous Gaelic singer, who requests on behalf of her husband, Brian O'Hara, who I believe is of Irish descent, half Irish, half Canadian. He would like to hear the chorus jig set from the wonderful band McCarran, Brechin and O'Hara. I wonder if that's the same O'Hara that requested this. Anyway, if it is, no matter, because we like requests from anybody. We take any requests on this show. The chorus jig set. Dougie the Dingo! Wow! Here he is. Oh, it's a crazy dingo dog. I thought he disobeyed, but he's just gone down to get closer to the accordion. There you go, you crazy doggy. Here, let's see the dingo jump. Yeah, come on. Oh, he's a dancing dingo. Well done. He's got his chew sticks. He loves his chew sticks. I've actually been to Australia, despite that terrible accent, many times. Many times on tour, actually, with Burach and God, I don't know how many times we were there, 3, 4, and with Ewan Wilkinson, been over a lot of times as well. Ewan is my friend from Peebles in the Borders. He's actually there today because I asked him to be a special guest on the show, and yet again he's turned me down. He's always got an excuse. Anyway, he's visiting his parents in Peebles today, so that's understandable. We'll let him off for that. But yeah, me and Ewan have been over there many times, and once with Ronan Martin, fiddle player from Skye, who I've mentioned many times on the show, and once with another wonderful fiddler, Alison Smith from Glasgow, who's never been mentioned in the show, but there's a first for you, Alison. Hello there, if you're watching. The one time I arrived in Australia straight off a plane and went straight to do a workshop for fiddle players, and they were all playing one of my tunes. It was bizarre. It's bizarre stopping off in somewhere like Dubai or Thailand, whichever flight company you're flying to Australia with. Yeah, this is the days when you could fly to Australia. Of course, you can't do it now. You can't get a flight to Spain, never mind Australia. And you would stop off somewhere exotic on the way where you can't understand the language and the food's really exotic, and then you carry on another 15-hour flight, and you get to Australia and everybody's speaking English, and there's McDonald's and Burger King, and it's just the same as back home with a funny accent. So yeah, very bizarre. But anyway, I got taken to this fiddle camp where they were all playing my tune, and that was really weird as well. So yeah, flew halfway around the world just to hear people playing the same old bloody tunes that I've heard a million times. Awful. Anyway, I always had a brilliant time in Australia, don't get me wrong. Great fun. Here's a joke for you. What do you call an Australian who just farted? Ned Smelly. Oh, I know, that's hilarious. It's hilarious, Toki. Oh my God, his little bandana's come off. You're naked. Oh, he is naked, actually. Can you see he's been sheared this week? Look at this lovely couch covering that I made from all the shearings that we took off of him. He's like a little rabbit. He's like a little rabbit with a giant head. Oops, his ears tucked in there. There you go. Good boy. He's a very good dingo. What was I talking about? I can't remember. It was something to do with Australia, wasn't it? Never mind. Right, yes, here's another famous Australian song for you. It's by AC/DC, and it's called Thunderstruck. Never actually done this before. For the first time ever on the accordion. Somebody else has done it somewhere, no doubt. Oops. Okay, I can tell you're bored with that. I did actually learn that earlier this morning, and I went and gone and forgot it. Don't drink beer while you're doing a live performance. Honestly, it's not very good for the memory cells. What I will do is, if anybody's interested in hearing that properly, I will learn the whole song, which is pretty much that little riff going all the way through it, with words screamed over the top. I really need Bruce McGregor here because he's brilliant at doing the AC/DC lead singer screaming. And apparently there's a position going in the band now, so Bruce, you could be available. It was Bruce's 50th birthday party supposed to be last week, and didn't happen, as many things didn't happen this year. But congratulations to you, Bruce, on your half-century. And Bruce has got his wonderful programme live at 5, by the way, on Facebook, if you get bored of shows with just more accordion like this one. Anyway, we try and keep it interesting every week, don't we? Dougie the Dingo? Yes, we do. Now, it's a bit of a problem with flies today. It's very appropriate Oh, by the way, here's a picture of me with a sleeping koala. Yes, and they say the lion shall lay down with the lamb, and the accordion player shall lay down with the koala. That is actually a genuine sleeping koala on a tree, which I barged in on for a photo opportunity. It's a selfie. It's a selfie before they were called selfie. That is a real photograph, by the way, that somebody framed for me when I was on tour in Australia. Yes, I was sleeping with koalas. Nothing funny went on. It was just an innocent man sleeping with koala. Happens all the time. Yeah, some interesting animals over there in Australia. The ones that you hear about all the time, of course, the duck-billed platypus, which is one of the most bizarre-looking creatures in the world. They're actually tiny little things. And wombats and wallabies and kangaroos. Yeah, we know all about them. But one of the more unusual ones is something that looks like a multicoloured emu. In fact, it looks like the the Rod Hull emu version of emu. It's called a cassowary. And you only get them in Australia, and they've got this giant, they look like an emu, but they've got this giant one claw, and apparently if they get angry they can just rip your torso right open and disembowel you with one with one swipe of the claw. So you actually have to be very careful. I didn't lie down with a cassowary, I can tell you that. Not taking the risk there. But I do have, the only thing vaguely Australian I could find, which I used in my picture advertising for this, is a koala clip. Yeah, now this is brilliant. Oh yes, Toki, you could eat that. Yes, you could. Oh, I could eat that koala. He loves koalas. Now this is a koala clip. This is the only Australian thing I've got the head. Look in the house, look at this. It's got a fully 360 degrees rotating head. Your head doesn't do that, Toki, does it? Not unless he's possessed by the spirit of an evil dead dog. It is a wonderful koala clip. Yes, you can clip it on anywhere, and we could clip it on. Excuse me. Look, we can get a drone. Oi, give that back. Look, we'll clip it. You can probably clip it onto a dog's ear. Oh, look at that. You can't eat me now, can you? Yes, tasty. Right, back to the show. What's next? Oh, we're going to do a nice tune from Orkney. Yes, I've been doing some Shetland stuff, and all the people from Orkney have been phoning up going, why don't you do something from Orkney? So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Let me get comfortable, because there's a waltz. Look at the size of these boots, mate. That's incredible. This is called the Stronsey Waltz. And are you going to do some waltzing? Dingo the doggy? Dougie the Dingo? Here we go. What are you sniffing at, mate? the Stronsay Waltz from the island of Stronsay on Orkney, and that was very much enjoyed by Dougie the Dingo. He loved waltzing along to that. He's a very good dog. He doesn't quite know what happens on a Sunday, but he knows he knows he's supposed to be here, and he just kind of hangs around waiting to see if you get another mini bone. Oh, mini bones! Look what I've got. It's a tiny bone. Yes, it's a lovely tasty bone. Oh, he knows what a tiny bone is. Oh, yes. That's why he hangs around. Actually, seriously, hangs around anyway. I don't need to bribe him. I just feel that he deserves some reward for his part in co-hosting this show. And I'd like to say, by the way, thank you very much for all those of you who take your part, do your part in sponsoring this show. And thank you for your generous tips and the less generous ones over the past few months. It's been very much appreciated. Thank you very much. If you do wish to donate, anywhere between 1 and 5 pence is the customary amount, but any amount accepted. There's a PayPal link somewhere around here. And this show is part of Quarantine Gigs, run by the wonderful Grant Simpson, fiddle player from North Sea Gas. Ah, that's what I was talking about, Ned Smelly. Yes, Ned Kelly. There's actually a Ned Kelly museum, which is it's right up there with Popeye World. For those of you that have seen one of my previous episodes about Popeye World in Crete, it really is truly awful, but so awful you have to visit it. The Ned Kelly Museum. It's just like somebody's made their own statue out of a tailor's dummy with a metal bucket upended on his head. It's truly, but minutes of thought have been put into it. But there's this fabulous ramshackle hut of a restaurant beside it. This is just off the main highway number 1. It's just like this endless road that goes between from New South Wales down to Victoria, from Sydney down to Melbourne. And somewhere halfway down there is Ned Kelly World, the site of the famous or the infamous Ned Kelly hold up. I can't even remember what he was holding up. He was robbing something. He had a metal bucket upside down over his head with a couple of eyes cut out. At least he remembered to cut a couple of eye holes out. And that is where I was first introduced to the incredible taste sensation that is the pie floater. Yes, you'll be wanting a pie floater, lads. It's like, what's a pie floater? A floater's not something very nice back home in Scotland. You'll love it. It's great. It's thick green pea soup with the pie floating in it. I said, all right, we'll try that. So it's this bright green bowl of gruel, sort of pea soup, and there's the pie floating in it, and it's wow, it's a meal in one. It's a meal in a bowl. It's fantastic. So yeah, well worth the visit if you're ever in the vicinity. If you're ever allowed back in that part of the world again, go and have the pie floater in Ned Kelly World. I don't think they call it Ned Kelly World, but they should. Ned Welly, but Wedwelly World. That's like Wally World from Lambton Vacation. Anyway, I'm getting well off course. How about another joke? Oh yeah, 2 Aussies. There's that bloody fly. It's come all the way from Australia. You old bastard. Yes, he's a strong flyer. Like he's flown all the way. Yeah, 2 Australians sitting in a bar. Two very good friends. And one goes, listen, mate, when I'm dead, I'd like you to pour a beer over my grave. And his mate goes, no worries, mate, be glad to, but it'll have to go through my kidneys first. Yeah, typical Aussie humour. Right, we've got another song for you now, luckily. Yes. I didn't realise there was so many Australian songs that were available for an amateur accordion player stroke singer to try. Yes, there's been a lot of letters about my singing, none of them asking me to do it again. However, despite that, I am going to sing again for you now. Now, this is was a very popular song when it was first released. I'm sure this will make it in no way popular any longer. It's called, it's by a band called Men at Work, partly, and it's called I come from a land down under. Yes, I come from a land down under an accordion player's armpit. I come from a land down under. Here we go. What key is this? D. It says D. Right, let's hope I'm sure I could sort of sing it in D. Oh God, how does the riff go? I've forgotten. Travelling in a fried out combi on a hippie trailhead full of zombie. Oh, surprisingly good. I met a strange lady, she made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast. And she said, do you come from a land down under, where women glow and men plunder? Can't you hear the thunder? I did the other night, yeah. You better run, you better take cover. Something like that. Grew brown bread from a man in Brussels. He was 6'4" and full of muscle. I said, do you speak my language? A wonderful Gaelic course with that name. He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, I come from a land down under, where beer does flow and men chunder. Can you hear the thunder? You better run, better take cover. Lying in a den in Bombay, with a slack jaw and not much to say, said to the man he trying to tempt me, because I come from the land of plenty. And he said, oh, do you come from a land down under, where women glow and men plunder? Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Wow, Toki was really impressed with that song there. He was hanging on every word. He was hanging on every word. He loved it. Thank you, Toki. I know. What's that? Your singing's amazing. Thank you, Toki. Thank you. Well, you'll be glad to know I've run out of Australian songs to sing. I did have a whole pile of Rolf Harris ones, but apparently we're not allowed to sing them. Time a Kangaroo Down Sport was one of my personal favourites, but no, can't even mention the name now. Too late. Talking of statues being pulled down, his was pulled down many years ago in Australia. Quite rightly so. What we got now? We have got, oh yes, another one of the provinces of Australia is, of course, Tasmania. And Tasmania is another place I've been to many times. It's full of beautiful fruit orchards, every kind of fruit you can imagine. Not like the fruits you get over here, apples and more apples, and if you're lucky, I don't know, an asparagus. It's not fruit, is it? But a plum. But no, over there you get everything: cherries, kiwis, avocados, lemons, you name it. It's growing there. Tangerines, it's growing on a tree. And they have orchards and orchards all over Tasmania. And people just have little bags of fantastic fruit for sale, ridiculously cheap, in a little honesty stall table outside the entrance to the farm. As you drive past, you just stop and pick up some fruit and put some money in. Wonderful. Anyway, I was playing a folk festival with Tamar Valley Folk Festival, and also Signet Folk Festival with Ronan Martin many years ago in Tasmania, and I got this. I sometimes get this eye infection called iritis. I know it sounds like a joke, but it's actually the inflammation of the iris. You know, the little coloured bit in the middle, and it sticks to the eye. It gets very sore when it's exposed to light. It's not very nice. And funnily enough, yes, it's called iritis or uveitis. Iritis, I often get it in the left eye, so it should be really called leftitis, but it's not. It's only they don't have a leftitis version. They've just got an iritis. That's so typical of the world these days. It's so unleft friendly, isn't it? There's nothing for left-handed people, not even an eye infection. Yeah, iritis. So anyway, this flared up as it often does when I'm on tour, and I had to go and see the doctor after the big Saturday night at the festival. a little bit too much excitement can cause it to flare up, if you know what I mean. So we had the big finale for Saturday night at the end of the festival, and next day I went, made a doctor appointment, and it was this guy. I recognised him because I'd seen him last night, because we were at the gig at the festival, because he was in the audience, but the doctor, but he's very noticeable because he had this giant handlebar grey moustache, and he's quite a character, you know. And I said, "Oh, hello, doctor. Sorry to bother you on a Sunday, but I've got a problem." And he went, "Is it your stomach?" And I went, "No, it's my eye actually." He went, "It's just I saw what you ate at the festival last night." I've got a little reputation for being a tiny bit greedy when it comes to food. So yes, that was a genuine comment the doctor made. But I said, no, it's all right. I said, and he punched me in the other eye and says, "That'll take your mind off it." In a typical Aussie way. No, he didn't. He gave me some medicine. It was very nice. Okay, we better get on with. Oh yeah, so Tasmanian. So that was leading me into a set of tunes. I've done this one already on the show, but nobody ever watches the shows twice. Surely that'd be crazy. Two shows in a row. So you might not even remember this. It's called Things with Strings, but one of the tunes in it is called The Tasmanian Devil, especially for an ex-girlfriend many years ago called Katie Dargy, who bizarrely liked that epithet. It wasn't me that gave her it. She was already called that, and she was quite a wild child. The Tasmanian Devil. Here we go. Tasmanian Devil. Why am I shouting? I don't know. Bloody fly. Clear off, you bloody fly. It's on my beer. Alright, clear off. flies trying to drink my beer. Clear off. Ah, don't believe it. Close your mouth, close your mouth. It's dangerous stuff. Right, that was the Tasmanian Devil. Yeah, oh god, the accent's slipping again. I'm just going to go back to normal. Right, we're going to go on to a set of tunes now called the Kitchen Piper. Kitchen Piper is written by Neil Dickey. He's not in the least bit Australian, he's in fact Canadian. But to be honest, with not being able to do the Rolf Harris stuff, I've simply run out of Australian material. Disaster. So we're going to have to go over to Canada, play the Kitchen Piper instead. Kitchen Piper is a wonderful tune written by Piper and Neil Dickey, who I've never met, but I like his sense of humour. And in his book of tunes, he's got a picture of him not winning the cup in 1986 at the Pipe Band Championships. Okay, here we go, Kitchen Piper. Maybe something else after it if I can think of something. Here we go, Tokes. Yes, I know you're very excited about what's coming up next. Here, I'll come and sit in this lovely, nice rug made from your hair clippings yesterday. Okay, let's get comfortable. Kitchen Piper with nothing else after it, because I forgot I was maybe going to play something after it and then forgot about it. What I can tell you though is that I got a phone call last night from Wendy Weatherby, aka Peggy the cleaning lady from Heidi High, who was outside my window last week, and she phoned me while I was in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is made of plastic, which was donated to me by my father when he upgraded to, a few years ago, upgraded to a glass one. And I built it out the back green in the tenements here, and the original plan was to put plants in it. I haven't quite got round to that, but I'm still digging the earth up, or the rocks rather, in the floor they call it, the greenhouse floor. I went out the back garden yesterday, and as soon as I went out, the first of many raindrops fell rather spectacularly in a hurry, and I leapt into the greenhouse and hid there for an hour. So that was wonderful. But while I was there, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from Wendy Weatherby because she had just watched the new film of Will Ferrell. Ferrell, not Ferrell. Ferrell. I'm a big fan of Will Ferrell. Me and my son Robbie, who's 20 now, one of our favourite films ever when he was a kid was Step Brothers. Brilliant. Oh, and Elf as well, fantastic. Anyway, he's brought out a new one, which I don't even know what it's called, but is it called Eurovision or something like that? Anyway, it's about a team from Iceland that go to Eurovision. It's particularly pertinent for myself, having been an almost ran, as I said in one of my previous shows in 1997, with that classic that everyone remembers, Yodel in the Canyon of Love. by Do Re Mi. I was Do. Do! And anyway, she phoned me to tell me how good it was and I should watch it. And apparently, I didn't even realise this, the final of the Eurovision in the film is held in Edinburgh. Well, there's a little bit of acrimony between Glasgow and Edinburgh, which there is anyway, because it's held in the Hydro, which of course is not in Edinburgh at all, it's in Glasgow. Anyway, that's the magic of the movies. Yes, the artistic license that can move buildings. Anyway, I'm going to watch it. I've not watched it yet. I meant to watch it last night, but I forgot. So apparently it's very good anyway, if you like that kind of thing. Oh, Blades of Glory, as another classic. Yeah, as an ice skater myself. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that will end up with me. I'll be the only male on male sewing my own sequence dancing on ice duo when I get to that stage. I'm not quite at that stage yet. Anyway, what time is it? 4 minutes, 3 minutes to go. Right, I think we better finish with something so un-Australian that people will wonder why I'm even wearing this gear. What should we do? This is called Troy's Wedding. It's an old-fashioned jig, which I love. I love the old-fashioned stuff. And maybe do another tune with it, but I can't think of one yet. I'll tell you afterwards, whatever I come up with. Was going to play another tune after that, but I realised the time was only 1 minute to go and I've got a couple of Aussie tales to tell you. Yeah, we were up in the Blue Mountains with Burek, playing the Blue Mountains Festival, which is a fantastic place, Katoomba, and it's like the Grand Canyon but covered with forest. It's amazing. You don't realise until you go and look over the cliff edge, and there's this massive, spectacular national park there. It's absolutely beautiful. There's this guy there called what was his name? Aladala, that was his name. And he's kind of like this hippie guy with no teeth, an older guy. He was great fun, and he used to sing this song Marijuana. And we said, oh, do you? We've been staying with this wonderful couple, an older guy from Scotland. He's been living over here 50 years, called Monty. And he goes, Monty, I know Monty. He's a great mate of mine. Sail out of him. He kept saying this all weekend. Sail out of Monty when you see him. We went back to Kiama where we were staying with Monty, kindly picking us up, and he said, oh, we met this guy Aladullah. He says he's a good friend of yours. And Monty, who's an ex-policeman who's got a bit of an underbite, goes, aye, I arrested him quite a lot of times. So that turned out that was how they knew each other. And it was nice that Aladullah remembered that. And what was the other story? Oh yeah, we were up, me and Ewan were up in the Atherton Tablelands playing another year, playing Yangabara Festival, which is the most amazing place up in the really hot bit near Cairns and the Northern Territories. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, we get off the plane there and it's super hot and humid. And we get picked up by this chap who was from England originally but had been living out there
for many decades. A really nice guy, and we were staying with him. He took us back to his house, and he was driving back up these windy roads, up these high hills, and we were like going. We got our some jokes for this bit. Is that we hear there's crocodiles here? Is there? They're not really crocodiles. And then he goes, oh yeah, there's big crocs here. Yeah, when I first came over, they told me about this guy who they had been missing for 2 days, and eventually they caught this 20-foot long croc, and they opened up its stomach, and in it they found his arm, and his watch was still ticking. Me and you were like, I didn't really bring the swimming trunks. I'm not going anywhere near. I'm not going near Bath. Never mind the open water. So yeah, Australia's full of things that can kill you. By the way, I once bent down to tie my shoelace when I was out for a run in New South Wales, which is the bit with, you would think, with less deadly animals in, because it's kind of green, and not that dissimilar to the rolling hills of the Borders. But no, I bent down to tie my shoelace and saw this, what I thought was a black stick right next to me. No, it was actually a black red belly snake. Third, I'd only just been reading about it in a book at the place I was staying minutes before. Third most deadly snake of the 10 most deadly snakes in the world that all happen to live in Australia. Yeah, great place to visit. Anyway, no hurry to go back. Speaking of which, we're out of time. I'm out of here. G'day. I can't believe I never said g'day. Yeah, there we go. G'day. Ah, another terrible accent, Toki. You're going to have to train me on these accents. Yes, I know I should put in more thought. What's that? Maybe spend more than 5 minutes preparation on the show. Yes, well, I'm a busy man. You see, I've got gardens to dig, and I've got floors to wipe, and accordions to practice. Yes, how will I ever get good if I don't practice the accordion? That's it. Anyway, let's go and share a bone, shall we? Not again.